We're so glad that you're joining us today, and we're going to start off with a familiar song, This Is the Day. This is the day that the Lord hath made, that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord hath made. This is the day that the Lord hath made, that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord hath made.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Modesto. We are delighted that you are tuned in, watching, listening, whatever. You and maybe the pets and maybe a few neighbors have been invited in. Make it can't make it a big party, not with the virus, but you could invite someone in to watch. Okay, this morning we're going to start with the Lord's Prayer. Way. Sorry about last week where it took me half this entire service to find the pretty slides, but because Jackie's doing such a good job of finding beautiful slides, doing a great job, and we do appreciate it, even if I couldn't find it right away last week. So if you'll join me in saying, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For announcements this morning, the board is busy looking for alternative speakers, so stay tuned to see what's coming on Sundays. We will, from time to time, have different people. And next Sunday will be one of our guest speakers, so be sure and check back with us. Our communication now is mostly via the newsletter. So if you aren't receiving it, either by email or physically snail mail, then call the church and leave a message with your updated address or whatever we might need. The phone number for the church is 209-578-5433. Or you can mail something in, information or prayer requests or donations, to Unity of Modesto, 2467 Veneman, that's with a V like victory, Veneman Avenue, Modesto, 95356. And we have some limited, but they're there, church hours, thanks to Jackie, on Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 to 12:30. And at those times, you could stop by and pick up some script. You could drop off recycling or donations for the food pantry. You can drop off your tithe or a prayer request. And your prayer requests and donations can also be done, when you're clever, with the right buttons on the website. If you're shopping more on Amazon, be sure and check that button that says Smile, because you can put in Smile for the Unity of Modesto, and then when you're picking up a few extra, whatever you need. I always think of books with Amazon, but they sell everything in the world, I think. And it's a very painless way to support the church now. Now, I want to tell you all, be sure that you've registered and you're going to vote. And I wanted to share a little comment by Ellen Davenport in the book, The Five Principles. I mentioned this before, but I think it's so powerful for us to see that where we put our energy helps with whatever we're going to do. She gives an example of elections, and it sounds like she knew umpty years ago that this was going to happen. For example, leaders are elected physically with our votes, but metaphysically through our collective consciousness. Suppose candidates A and B are running for president of the United States. Half the country is voting for A. The other half not only supports B instead, but despises A. The polls say it's a toss-up, but candidate A will take office because of the tremendous emotional focus on him or her. Both sides are choosing candidate A with their attention and emotion. Both are providing energetic support for A, whether they go into the voting booth or not. Half are creating the outcome they want, while half are creating what they don't want through their fear, resistance, and negativity. As we learned in Principle 3, we create both ways, through positive and negative vibration. We create by thought and emotion, focus, or energy. Whether it's the election or something you care about, like the environment or the society, things that are happening, like Black Lives Matter. You want to support the positive things with positive feelings. And if you catch yourself getting angry and rant, put your head in a bucket of water or something. I mean, just don't do that, because you have given power to the things that you don't want. Remember that. It's such a powerful lesson. Okay, now the daily word. One of my favorite subjects, prosperity. I am prosperous as I enjoy my daily blessings. I am comfortable with the person I see in the mirror as I begin my day. I'm filled with energy and enthusiasm for my work, my recreation, time with family or friends, or time for learning and reflection. My gratitude grows throughout the day as I take part in activities I enjoy and spend time with people I care about, like right now. As I prepare for sleep, I am grateful for the blessings of a day well lived. More than money or possessions, prosperity is an awareness of well-being, my ability to enjoy simple blessings. I strengthen my prosperity consciousness as I bless and appreciate my home, my friends, my family, and my work. I increase the flow of abundance by sharing my time, my talents, and treasure in service to others, which makes me think of our musicians sharing their talent and their treasure. From Psalm 23:6, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. Oh, I almost feel like we can go home now. Okay. This is our prayer box that under ordinary times, and we will return to ordinary times, sits in the back of the room. And in the meantime, it accepts the prayers that you send in via email or written, mail them to us. And what happens is that your prayer team here in this church supports you by praying for these for a full month. And then they're sent on to Silent Unity, where they're prayed on again for a full month. That's a lot of prayers, a lot of power, a lot of good consciousness. So let's join together for a moment right now and know that each and every request that is placed by anyone in this congregation is worked on right now, is in the process of healing, whether it's for an individual or for a concern such as the healings that are coming about to eradicate the virus, the healings for people dealing with hurricanes. We see the news and we wonder, oh my goodness, how are they going to make it? They're going to make it because we pray for them, because we join them in consciousness and know that everyone working through any natural disaster is supported and taken care of. And that all of these processes, whether individual or groups of people, are coming to a close as healed, mended, all put together right, all sorted out. And for this, we do say thank you. And so it is. Amen. And if you will join me for our October affirmation, I am in concert with divine order, trusting my way into all that comes next. Now we have
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
And now let's drop off all our cares, concerns, worries. Leave them outside the room or the building where you are. You can pick them up later. And let's just picture ourselves in the midst of prosperity, in the midst of the abundance that this season shows us. Let's think of ourselves as sitting down in the middle of a huge pile of pumpkins. You've seen the piles of pumpkins for sale, and that shows us the natural abundance and prosperity of this entire universe. We are supplied with what we need. So let's picture ourselves surrounded by cute little pumpkins and huge pumpkins and all the ones in between. all the different shades, and we can feel the richness of that beautiful orange and the variety, and we can realize that we are supplied. When we need ideas, we're supplied with ideas. When we need guidance, guidance is there. When we feel that there is some lack going on in our life, let's know that that is simply a Halloween ghost, a spook, a not real thing. Smoke. Send it away. And let's absorb that natural abundance and feel cared for. Whatever we need, whatever shape it takes, the universe is supplying right now. Let us absorb that. As we absorb what we need, as we look for it in our life, as we raise our awareness of how much is supplied to us, we enter into the feeling of gratitude. And we will carry that with us in our hearts, in that sanctuary within. And we can touch that anytime we do our personal meditation at home. And now let's bring our awareness back here. Put that pumpkin aside. And this morning, I'm going to talk about the lilies of the field. Did any of you ever see that movie, Lilies of the Field, with Sidney Poitier? It came out in 1963, didn't seem like that long ago, and eventually resulted in Mr. Poitier receiving an Oscar award for his work. The story is of a single man, Homer Smith, out of the army and traveling for a while to see the country. He comes to the Southwest and finds himself stopping at a rather bare place where he sees two women building a fence. He thought he might help them, and he finds that he's in a small group of nuns, 4 women total, trying to survive in this dry, barren place. He encounters the leader, Mother Maria, who speaks just enough English to tell him no on the fence, and points to the roof of their small home, which he sees needs repairing. She is rather firm, which he isn't fond of, but he can see that he could really help out here. So he goes with her to view the materials and then climbs up on the roof. When he gets up on the roof, it is evident that the areas that need repair have been marked and measured, and the correct amount of materials ordered. Homer thinks about how efficiently the nun, Mother Maria, is operating. He thought of her as being like a boss, which he had plenty of experience with in the army. She had assessed the situation, evaluated what was needed, and obtained the necessary materials efficiently. He respected her for that. And I thought, what if we viewed God, that force and presence in the universe, as such a boss, as the presence, power, and mind that assesses a situation, organizes the materials, has everything in readiness for the individual to work into, and doesn't necessarily reveal all the details to that worker or person. but has everything ready. So when the time is right, or we ask the right questions with a giving, loving intent, all is ready for us. Homer was at a stage in life where he was open to learning, willing to give and help out. He would travel a bit, see the sights, stop and work to earn a little money, and then move on. And he was searching for where he could be useful and serve. What a great attitude for us to emulate. I'm open to guidance. I'm willing to work and serve where I am needed. And when that happens, then we need to say yes rather than, oh no, not here, not now, and become picky. That evening, after Homer shared a rather sparse meal with the nuns, they had one cow and a few chickens, and they lived on milk, eggs, and a rather solid type of bread. After, they asked for assistance on learning English, because they had emigrated from Germany. Homer enjoyed the challenge, worrying that he was going to give them a southern accent, as he was from South Carolina. But he found it was another way to serve. Homer considered leaving the next day, but Mother Maria was firm that work needed to be done. She told him they were going to build a church. Homer thought they were a bit crazy to attempt it. The area they owned had a foundation from a farmhouse that had burned down. So he thought he would stay one day and clean up that area a bit. When he started cleaning burned out rubbish that had filled in the old basement, he saw work that was much too heavy for the women, and he was needed there. And he started working to uncover a good foundation. He stayed another day or so, and then it was Sunday. He didn't see the nuns up early to work, no breakfast, and he remembered that when he was in the army, the Catholics didn't eat before Mass. He dressed up a bit. It was Sunday. And when the nuns came out, he asked where they went to church. The answer was the small town 2 miles away. They walked. So Homer offered to drive them. It was hot, and they wore long robes. While they went to Mass, Homer found a place where he could get a good breakfast of ham and eggs and a few extra slices of ham to give the nuns. He also learned the story of how they came to be there and that they were political refugees from Germany. When Mass was over, Homer spoke to the priest and asked if he could look at the little church they used. He had some trepidations about being struck down. He was a Baptist walking into a Catholic church, but he was curious about the construction of the church. It was adobe, which he had never seen. He learned how the adobe bricks were made for the hot, dry Southwest, and how earnestly Mother Maria had prayed, and that she now viewed Homer as the answer to her prayers. The priest, who served 4 different churches, had high hopes too. Mother Maria was a great example of faith in God. She prayed for help, had no detailed demands or requirements. She did what she could, measured things, ordered materials, had the goal, the vision of the end product. She wanted to build a church and a home for boys in the cities who were in trouble, having challenges in life. She wanted to give them a home out in the country to offer a chance for a better life, a healthy place where they could be cared for, cared about, and learn about God. She saw it all in her mind, no doubts, did not know how it would come about, but trusted God and prayed, and accepted what came. Homer. Homer didn't see it that way, and he was frustrated at the challenges in communication until he spotted their big German Bible. He brought out his Bible and found a quote to hand Mother Maria. He wanted to get paid for his work, so he wrote Luke 10:7. which says, "And in the same house remain, eating and drinking such things as they give, for the laborer is worthy of his hire." She gave back to him Proverbs 1:14, "Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse." He said, "No, I'm a poor man. I need to work for wages." She handed him Matthew 6:28 and 29. "And why take ye thought for raiment, clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin." As I chuckled over their back and forth, I thought of how we can find anything we need in the Bible. Answers, inspiration, guidelines, examples, solace, if we but look and are open to receive. I also thought about how that passage of the lilies of the field removes worries and concerns that can be so draining, especially in this times that we're going through right now. The worries, the fears, and the anxieties of, well, what if, and how can I do this, pull off our energy and our ideas, distract us from thinking how something can be handled. It's like an alternative path. We can worry and lose out, or we can consider the lilies of the field. Trust that answers come, help is available, what we need is furnished as we need it. We may want to say, I want this and I want it right now, without realizing that something better or more appropriate is in the very near future. Mother Maria trusted and had faith and accepted the help that came, even if Homer was resisting. Homer went with Mother Maria to town to discuss with a construction company what exactly would be needed to build their church. And Homer spoke with the owner of the construction company who had assisted the nuns in settling into their property and thought they should go back home because they would never succeed. Homer discovered that he could work for the company 2 days a week to earn some money, and he bought a couple bags of cement to help set up the foundation. He was only willing to do the foundation, nothing else. When he drew his pay at the end of the week, he bought food. He wanted to eat better, and he shared it with the nuns. This went on for a few weeks until he had the foundation in good shape and the site was cleaned up. Then he began to chafe at the bossy orders and the Spartan lifestyle. He finished the foundation and he left, heading for the nearest big city. When he got there, he rented a room and he began to enjoy all the offerings of the city: food, people, physical comforts, assorted odd jobs. And for a while, he forgot about the nuns and their church. Then he got a job tearing down some older homes, and he thought about the nuns. He saw a stack of bathtubs, and he thought about how the nuns would haul water and wash off from a bucket of water. He saw some windows due to be thrown out with colored glass in them, and he thought, those would be pretty in the church. For just a few dollars, he bought a bathtub, tied it up on the top of his station wagon, purchased a few windows, drew his final pay, and headed back. When Homer arrived, he brought up the tub, asked where, and Mother Maria took him to their small home and showed him a pantry. Homer set up the tub to drain only. They would still have to haul in buckets of water, and it would be a bit of an improvement. Homer was irritated that there was no big thank you, and he was also relieved that there was no scolding or questions about where have you been. Mother Maria acted as if she knew he would return. While he was gone, The nuns' hard work of irrigating and farming had begun to pay off, and the nuns now had vegetables to add to the meals. When Homer took the nuns into town for church on Sunday, he returned to the small cafe for breakfast and received an earful from the cook. He was told it wasn't reasonable for him to return, but Mother Maria had known he would come back and never wavered from that opinion. The cook told Homer how the townspeople laughed about the nun, how everyone expected the nuns to fail. Only the priest expected Homer to return because Mother Maria just knew Homer would return. And the priest accepted that. The cook went on to say that the priest will be delighted to have Homer return, as it was a religious thing. Then the cook went on to say, it is faith. It is a word for what is unreasonable. If a man believes in an unreasonable thing, that is faith. It is not reasonable that you should come back to this place and work for nothing. Nobody believed it. You have come back. Homer thought about Mother Maria. She believed that he would come back. She believed that he could build a church all by himself, maybe even without bricks. That wasn't a reasonable idea. He had never built anything, much less all by himself. He thought about how he didn't really need wages. He was free, like the lilies of the field. It was a strange feeling and unreasonable. I thought of Hebrews 11:1, where we are told, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Does this sound unreasonable? Things not seen? Perhaps. Is faith effective? Monumentally. When Mass was over, Homer spoke with the priest, who was indeed happy to see him, and told him he might get a surprise or two this week, which turned out to come rather quickly. On Monday morning, vehicles of various types and sizes began showing up, each with adobe bricks and each driver with the same little speech. I am happy to bring these bricks for the chapel. I have had a doubt in my heart, a doubt of you, and I am sorry. After a few more vehicles with bricks and the same speech, Homer figured the priest must have preached hell to this congregation. The bricks poured in, and I can imagine that the priest was delighted to have a great example of faith in the solid belief of Mother Maria. When we find someone with a strong, unyielding faith in God and good, in results and healing, in a happy ending, that person is like a big center pole in a tent. And as it goes up, it pulls all the rest of the tent with it. Mother Maria was an example to the congregation that faith brings results. And maybe they figured they wanted some of that, so they all pitched in with bricks. The men wanted to help Homer, but he'd begun to have a very proprietary attitude about his church and didn't want help until he began to realize that these men knew how to work with adobe, and they knew how to solve some of the challenges that he was encountering. So he accepted help, and he made friends. This was a good example of how we sometimes need to learn to ask for help, to let down our guard that we can put up with foolish pride. I want to do it myself. When Homer had used all the bricks that the men had been bringing him and put in the windows that he'd purchased, the chapel was a bit short. He was thinking that might have to be the final size, and then a big truck rolled up from the construction company with 1,000 bricks professionally made. This load gave him more than he thought he needed, and he considered taking down some of the homemade bricks. But Homer knew the love that had gone into the making and sharing of the bricks, and how the men from town really wanted to contribute and participate, and that the final covering would even out any misshapes in the bricks. So he made the chapel taller than originally planned, figuring that the owner of the construction company had lost a bet with himself and was regretting his stance of telling the nuns to give up and go home. It reminded me of a saying that I have in my kitchen. Man saying it cannot be done should not interrupt man doing it. The faith and unwavering expectations of good by Mother Maria had shown all the naysayers in town. When Homer completed the little chapel, he considered remaining for the celebration Mass, but he felt uncomfortable, so he quietly packed up and left. The story ends with the legend of Homer Smith came into being within 24 hours of his disappearance from the scene of his labors. The priest spoke feelingly of him. The local newspaper ran a story with a photograph of the chapel. Every Spanish American in the region claimed to have known Homer Smith well, and they are a people who like tales of saints who walk the earth and of angels that take men unaware. Mother Maria and the nuns were reluctant to speak for publication, which drew them into the legend. People wrote to them and sent money asking for prayers. The construction company owner spoke to his local Rotarian club, then the capital city Rotarians. Publicity created more publicity, and tourists journeyed to a section of the state which they had never seen, because they were told that an unusual experience awaited them in a modern shrine. The aim of Mother Maria was publicized with the rest of the story, and substantial sums of money were contributed to help her realize her aim. Today, there are several fine buildings and 4 new nuns under the direction of the aging Mother Maria. The buildings have electricity and modern plumbing. There are boys from broken homes and boys who've been in difficulty with the law, studying in the classrooms and working in the field and workshops. They have made their school a noted institution by their loyalty to it. The chapel occupies the key position and is a favorite subject of photographers and artists who have created postcards of it. There are no chapels like it anywhere. It is a conventional adobe, but some trick of proportion makes it memorable, and it has been described as a true primitive. When the older Mother Maria directs tourists through the chapel, she points to a picture by one of the nuns and says, "This is the chapel of St. Benedict the Moor." The painting of the saint is one by our nuns, and the model was a man named Homer Smith, who came to us under the direction of God and built this chapel with his own 2 hands. Then she pauses and says, "He was not of our faith, nor of our skin, but he was a man of greatness, of an utter devotion." This is a totally delightful story, and it gives us an idea of the strong impact of what faith can do. What might we do in our lifetimes that would start a legend or a myth? And where might we demonstrate faith so strong that it inspires others around us? And how often might we remember the lilies of the field and feel ourselves cared for, drop some of our worries, and urge others to join us in that contemplation? We are cared for. Consider the lilies. Thank you.
There is more than enough in the universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough. There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let the world know the truth, whatever we choose to do, your infinite love will prove more than enough, more than enough, more than enough.
Thank you. Perfect as always. More than enough. Okay, now it's our time to share. And isn't that always wonderful when we get to share something, anything? Our money, our time, our energy, our support, our love for other people. Sharing, this is where it's at. Okay, let's join together in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Yay, it's so much fun. And now, the peace song. And think of the whole world when we sing this. This whole world could use a whole lot of peace and love. Let's send that out from our heart. Okay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take let it begin with me.
And now let's join together for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Thank you,
Remind
God.
yourself of that every day. And remember, we're here for you, so you be here for us. And hopefully we'll all be together physically real soon. Think, what's that right color we have to get to? Yellow or something like that? Red? Okay, think red. Okay, think red.